There it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, got him good. I like it, Jack. Yeah. Olivia's got him doing push-ups.
Oh! Here we go again.
You ain't even let me finish with the bed. Run that back. Run that back. Run that back.
So
I like that, Coach.
that was a gift this year. All the girls started seeing all the college programs doing that, and that's actually something my wife does. She does all that bedazzling stuff with Stanleys, and
That's sharp.
so I think she said she's got about 10 hours into it.
No
so
kidding.
That doesn't surprise me. Look at it.
she didn't know how many gyms, but she enjoys doing it, and I was like, it's, I'll give you the ball, but you do the work on it.
So, quick question, Coach.
Yeah.
05, right?
Yep, 2005.
05 guy. Now, did you play for Buck back then, or was it?
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So it was all Coach Buck. First year was 01-02. The only reason I remember that is because 9/11 happened like right there before the season started, and I remember us getting I can't remember if it was an American flag patch or something my freshman year. But yeah, all for Coach Buck. Was the all-time leading scorer here till Kellen Dunham came through. Hard trading twos for threes.
Yes, it is.
So, but I was blessed. I was on staff when he broke it. First Indiana All-Star. Coach Buck actually was my coach that year.
Okay.
So that was pretty special too. 1-2 sectionals back to back here. So 1-2 as a player, and then was a part of the boys' staff 4-2 with Coach Hahn too.
Okay.
So
Good.
been a part of 4. And then so after playing career stopped, basically got into I knew I didn't want to leave the game, and kind of the way I left the game was kind of messy. So I wanted to give back, and it just it spiraled from there. I think basically my biggest thing was kind of starting off. I tell the girls this all the time. I was with such hard-nosed coaches, Coach Buck. Coach Hahn was, a very intense guy, and I needed that. Like, there were a lot of times I would play down to the level of who we were playing against. And, I joke with the players now. I'm like, look, there's probably not too many people that's been in that locker room that's taken a butt chewing from Coach Buck as bad as I've been. So, but that's what I needed sometimes. And when I became a head coach, I think for a long time, I tried being somebody that I wasn't. So I kind of took pieces from all of my mentors and kind of made it my own. And that's made it so much more enjoyable. Just because for so long it was, like I said, I think I was trying to be somebody that I just naturally wasn't. And it's made a lot better.
Coach, what made you make that decision? Just over time, just experience?
Yeah, I think so. I've,
players?
Obviously when I stopped playing, I immediately came and started helping here. I helped out the middle school for 2 years, and then I've been on the high school staff since. That was like 2009 to 2013, I believe. And then that was when it was still extremely hard to get a teaching job. And they didn't have anything here for me. So then I branched out and I went up to Grant County for 3 years at Mrs. Sinawah, 2 under Coach McFarland. And then I applied for that job my last year up there, didn't get it. And I tell people, like, that year was tough on me because I was so used to a kind of a standard. Like when I was a player here, when I was a coach here, there's a standard of kind of preparation. You know almost every detail about your opponent, and it's a very, strategic, and, it takes a lot of mental toughness from kids. So when I was up there at Mississinawa, that's where kind of my whole thoughts around coaching started to shift. I was with kids who had mom and dads that, worked third shift at Walmart distribution center up there. I think there was another big factory up there. I think it was a cabinet place, but it changed my perception, because there were many times I'd be taking kids to go get dinner because I didn't know if they were going to have food on the table at night. So it was different. And I was trying to coach them like Pendleton kids. Yeah. And at first it was, it took me a long time to be like, hey, this isn't working. Like, I got to adapt. So that's where it kind of started. And I think where it kind of finished was, I think my last year at Mississinawa was probably 2016, 2017. I stepped down from teaching and coaching up there, and I came back and was just strictly teaching at Greenfield. Had lots of offers. Doug Laker was the girls' coach at Greenfield. He wanted me to come help. Coach Bates was here. Kevin Bates was here. He wanted me to come help. And I just said, you know what? I kind of just want to be a dad for a little bit and not have the, kind of drive-by, parenthood that I've been having for the last couple of years. And I think that gave me some more perspective on, what was important in life. It helped me because I was able to just kind of help build the feeder program with Coach Ballard and Coach Cook. We kind of got that off the ground for the boys and the girls here. And then I think my first year coming back, I'd reached out to Coach Cook because he kind of had a revolving door for assistants. And I told my wife a couple times, and she was always like, no, you're not getting back in. So what almost ended up happening was I filled out the application and was like, oops, type of thing.
Something was pulling you back in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad. I felt like I had things to give, and I missed. So through that, I eventually stopped teaching, and I work for my family's, real estate business now. My in-laws own the Remax franchise here in Pendleton, so that kind of took a lot off my plate too, and I have some freedom with my schedule. And I felt like my wife eventually ended up saying okay, because she felt like, okay, our kids are a little bit older and stuff. So came on, started helping Coach Cook, had a phenomenal year, 19-6, made it to the sectional final against Mount Vernon, came up 4 points short. And then that next year, Coach Cook stepped down. We had lots of discussions about, do we want to take, like, we're already putting a lot into it. Do we want to take that next step of having everything on your shoulders? And I kind of put it in her hands and my wife's hands, and she was like, okay, let's do it.
It was time.
And, we threw everything at it, and, was just super excited to get the opportunity. Had a pretty good record last year. Graduated 2 great seniors. But kind of reloaded with some good players this year. So we're excited to kind of see and kind of take that next step for us.
So how many seniors do you have back this year?
So we've got 2.
Okay.
So it's a smaller senior class. One of them, Skylar Baldwin, plays quite a bit. She is kind of on the rehab trail. She's playing kind of limited minutes right now, working her way back. And then Chloe Jones is a girl who's been around for 4 years. She's somebody that we see that, she kind of lives and breathes everything we talk about. She's a great leader. If you ask my girls, they would probably say she's one of their favorites.
Okay.
She actually even helped my youngest pull out a tooth during summer camp. So I mean, she's just, Chloe's kind of like the mother hen of the group.
Okay.
And just, like I said, she's always there, and she's a program kid, and we appreciate that. So we make sure that, she's always involved and everything. So
having that type of kid that you're just talking about, it helps. Does it help to shape the rest of the program?
100%. We talk a lot about culture, and culture is not easy. We told everybody this year, like, hey, for us to take this next step, there's things that we got to do different. You can't. I think a lot of our girls have it in their eyes that, like, hey, it's destiny. Like, the section is going to be hosted here. Like, it's ours to. Well, no, it's not. Like, we all know it doesn't work like that. If you want to be kind of, talked about and, kind of talked in that circle of the greats, like, it doesn't just happen, and it's a process. So, for us, we have an extremely tough start to our schedule where we start with Marion, which Marion's kind of been through the ringer the last 5 to 7 years. I think they've had 4 to 5 different head coaches. Coach McKinney's doing a great job up there, but they've been struggling. And then we turn around that Saturday and play Westfield. Westfield, tough opponent. So for us, that's a hard turnaround. And, we talked a lot about, culture, and, hey, this is a game we got to not just compete in, but we got to try to win this. If it's the 50-50 games or games where maybe we're a little bit, underrated, like, those are the ones we got to start finding a way to win. And it was probably the best half defensively we've played since we've been here. Came out in the start of the second half, cut it to 1, and then they went on kind of that 11-0 run. And and you guys, you've been around the game long enough. I use a lot of boxing references, and I said, hey, we talk about adversity, and I was like, they threw a haymaker. We're down on the mat. We got to get back up, rally together, and we got to start chipping away at this to get down, to get back in it. And I could tell by body language, like, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I know we've taken steps forward, because I think, like, last year our game got cut short because of a power outage, but we gave up 45 points in 2 quarters and like 3 minutes of the third. And we gave up 51 in 4 this year. So, I know we're making progress. Like I said, that was probably one of the best defensive halves. So I know the things we're doing are getting us where we need to be.
Starting to carry over.
We just got to keep moving forward. So,
Coach, you said something that helps you today dealing with this position, dealing with the girls here at Pendleton, that you learned in Miss Senawal. We could appreciate that, knowing that you have to learn how to adjust and know your personnel, who you're coaching. These are different girls. Has that really strengthened the relationship that you have with the girls that you coaching now? And have they bought into your style of coaching?
100%. I think if you were to come in and see one of my practices and it was from the 90s or like the early 2000s where, you guys played and where I'm from, people would probably think, man, like, that coach is soft. That's just not, like, that's not how I was coached.
Right.
But I also know that my girls struggle with, you can open it. My girls struggle with, constant yelling and everything.
Right.
So once again, Jay, there you go. That's where I had to adapt. There were a couple games last year where, at halftime, like, super upset, kind of ripping into them, and they don't respond to that. So I had to, it's kind of one of those things, like you can't keep trying to push a circle peg through a square hole. It's not going to work. So, definitely. And I think if I wouldn't have had those opportunities at other places, I probably wouldn't have had those experiences to help me get to that point. So for sure. And I think a lot of that too, my wife was in education for quite a few years before she got out. And once again, tough time for teachers. And she was teaching at a charter school on the east side of Indy, like 42nd and Franklin. And it was really eye-opening for me because I was still in college. I was still finishing up my my bachelor's degree. So I would help her on field trips and stuff.
Right.
And taking those kids to Conner Prairie or the Children's Museum, I just remember just thinking just shocked that this is the first time these kids have been here. And then I'm sitting here, they're like, I remember one kid was like, "What's Dippin' Dots?" And I'm like, "You've never had Dippin' Dots." Got the whole group dipping, just things like that. It was eye opening for me, and like I said, it made an impression on me, and it's changed. It changed me when I was an educator, and it changed me when I was a coach. So, you have to be willing to adapt in this industry, and I think us and the girls, we're still working on some things. I had to get on them about cell phones the other day. We had a big talk about cell phones.
Absolutely.
And I think they conveniently forgot the other day. And I said, "Hey, I think there's something against the wall over there that we just had a discussion about." And so we're still working through some things, but they're committed to kind of continuing and kind of getting us to a place where we feel like we want to be successful.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're pretty excited about this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because, we graduated Whitney Warfel last year. We had 2 all-conference players. She was one of them. She is now playing at Mount St. Joe. We also graduated Berkeley Shelton. She was really close to being an all-conference player, but she's playing now at Earlham.
Okay.
But we graduate those 2. They played a lot of minutes. We had 2 other seniors, Tamariah Herndon and Ava Kate Phillips, who played some really good minutes for us. So we lost 4. And as a program, I think we only had 16 or 17 girls last year. So, you get in kind of those dog days of winter where flu and stuff's going around. I mean, you have 3 or 4 out. The next thing you know, you got like 12 kids in the gym. So that was tough. But then this year, I know that there's more excitement because we went from 16 or 17 to 22.
Yes.
That freshman class that we have this year, I believe, is around like 10 to 11 girls.
Okay.
2 of those are really good, and we're excited about Ada Hupfer. Is a 6'3" post player. She's kind of
freshman?
She's probably our first true kind of back to the basket post player that we've had here in quite a few years on the girls' side.
And that's Kyle Hupfer's daughter.
Yep, Kyle Hupfer's daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then Megan and Angie Hupfer are her aunts. So they both, they're 1,000-point scorers here as well.
A balling family.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then we lost one Warfel and we gained another. So we lost Whitney, we gained Aubrey. Aubrey Warfel is a little bit different than her older sister. Aubrey's not as tall as Whitney. Whitney was like 5'9", 5'10". Aubrey's maybe 5'6", 5'7".
Okay.
But she's extremely athletic, like her sister Casey. Still kind of figuring it out. She's kind of a tweener right now where she's playing a little extra varsity because our primary point guard's working through that injury. But she kind of bounces back and forth. And she just needs some more meaningful reps.
That's what I was going to say. What a great experience. Coming in as young as she is, what a great experience just to be able to use her right away and get her that time on the floor. Even if it's practice time right now, it's going to benefit
100%. So,
and then a little bit about Casey. You got her back.
Yep. So Casey's back. She's a junior this year. A lot of the media, they've asked, they were like, I feel like that kid's, I feel like she's been here for 6 years because she's literally, she's played since day one.
Yeah.
So she'll be back. This is her 3rd year. I can't remember. I think she's approaching, 60 games under her belt. She's 59 points away from 1,000 as a junior. So I mean, she's probably one of the most talented girls that's come through Pendleton. I think Susan Lester holds our record for points at like 1,700.
Hold on, Coach. Now you said one of the best to even come through here.
Yeah.
And who was this again?
Casey Warfel.
Yeah, Casey Warfel.
And I will tell you this: I think she gets to the basket better than any guard I've seen.
Yeah,
especially recently.
She and when I say, I don't just mean as a basketball player too. Like, I mean, she plays volleyball. But like her freshman year, she joined the track team on a whim, and I think she ended up hurting herself after county, but I think she was like a fraction of a second away from like running the fastest 100 in the county.
Really?
Yes.
She's an athletic girl. Just
right.
All around athlete.
Did she ever work? Did you ever work with her?
Yeah, she's came out and shot at the CBA a few times. Her and her older sister. Yeah.
Okay.
So she, I mean, we have, her, she's obviously getting quite a few college looks. But the thing with Casey is she's kind of stuck in a spot where what position is she? She doesn't really fit the mold of a true point guard that handles it and can, kind of get you into your offense.
Yeah.
And then on the shooting guard side, she doesn't quite shoot it at a high enough clip. But once again, she's just, for me, she's one of those kids that if I'm a college coach, I'm at least going to inquire because, she's a competitor and she's going to help you win games somehow. So
see that type of kid right there. You can just be like, man, I want you. Why? Because you could bring so much value to the team, just being a part of the team, because you can play different positions.
For sure.
You're going to do what we need to, whatever we need to get done. You're going to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah, those type of kids you don't come across, like.
So I'm sure, she's gonna find a landing spot somewhere. We've had quite a few coaches inquire, so I mean, she's gonna find somewhere that fits her. But once again, we're excited. Ada Hupfer, I'm sure, is gonna be a girl that could end up playing maybe at any level she wants to. Just because, I mean, she's 6'3", her footwork as a post player for a 14-year-old kid might be, I mean, it's good.
For you to say that, Coach,
it's
that's
good.
saying a lot.
Like, I don't have to dig into that kind of stuff with her. It's basically refining skills. It's not building skills. And then we haven't even touched base on my sophomore, Olivia Jones, who is another, 5'9", 5'10" girl, extremely athletic sophomore. She's probably our best defender. She, could probably end up playing. She wants to play college basketball somewhere. And, I'm sure she's going to make that happen.
And she seems to have the work ethic.
100%. Yes, she shoots with Randy a lot.
Hey, listen, this is what it makes sense,
right?
I'll tell you this: the girl can flat out shoot the ball.
Yep.
Now, if we can just get that to convert over from shooting in practice to your practices to the games, then he's going to have another weapon.
And once again, she's another one where like she started from day one last year, and she's made so much growth from a freshman to now.
Yes.
But I think people, forget, and even for her, like she didn't get the opportunity to take all that many shots last year. So she's really still kind of building into this where, like she's still building her confidence.
Absolutely.
It's not like she took, 63s last year and kind of already has a track record of like, oh, hey, I know I can make this at this level. So there will be a game this year soon where she's going to figure it out. And I mean, she might run off 6 or 7 threes. So,
Coach, listen, man, you got me excited about these Arabians, man. I'm sitting here like, man, listen, I'm excited. I want to see you. I want to see y'all like right now. Like, I want to see, you already know, Zach.
I know a few of them.
Right. You know what he's talking about. And so I'm excited about this season. I want to see it. You know, I want to see it in action, man.
No, and like I said, we're still kind of building on the defensive end. Like with my coaching, mentors, defense is a big part of it. And I really think we're starting to see the fruits of that labor. And we're still kind of adjusting. Like, it's been tough. When we lost Whitney really wasn't a true post player. So it's been a little bit of a grind trying to get our perimeter players kind of used to playing with a true kind of back to your basket. But we're starting, like, each game I feel like we've gotten better. And I know that will continue to get better. But yeah, I mean, we're excited for sure.
Well, Coach, I'm excited with you. I know. Listen, Zach, he's sitting over there like, hey, because I know how excited he gets, right? But he already knows this. He already knows it. But still, man, just the excitement to hear it coming from you about, the young ladies that you're working with, man, and what's in front of you guys, regardless of the challenges. You're excited about the young ladies that you have, man.
Well, and I think kind of like the last thing and that I kind of want, our girls to kind of hear is, we just played Newcastle on Tuesday. And we were kind of in the locker room. I had already given our speech, and I kind of laughed with them. I was like, hey, like, I'm a pretty passionate guy. I'm up yelling, like, I'm clapping. I'm trying to get you guys going. And I said, like, sometimes I feel like we almost need like EKGs hooked up on all of you because there's no emotion. Like, it's just, they'll get an and one. And, like, they may do a baby high five with each other and just walk to the free throw line. And I'm like, I'm over here screaming louder than you are.
Right.
So, like, if that's probably the one thing, like, I want that to kind of start rubbing off on them just because I want them to have fun. But I also want them to have some pride in what they're building towards. So we're still working on that, but, we're excited for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, Coach. That's good. Man, I tell you, man, listen, when is your next game?
So it was supposed to be Saturday, but it got shifted. So now we have 3 next week. So our next one is Monday the 13th.
Okay.
At home against Heritage Christian.
Okay.
And then we follow that up with a tough conference opponent in Greenfield Central at home on Friday.
Okay.
And then we follow that up with Pike coming in here on Saturday. So we got that next week is going to be kind of a. Yeah.
It's never easy, is it, Coach?
No,
and that's why you tip them up, though.
Yep.
I mean,
and like I said, that's why we've really been focusing on, like, we were very detailed in how we prepared for Westfield, and they did a great job with it. But that was one game later in the week with lots of times to work on. Now we got 3 in 1 week.
Yeah.
Where, like, conference opponent, we're gonna have to be detailed. Then we got to jump to a totally different playing style in Pike. So it'll be a learning experience, but we're excited. We're ready to, line them up.
Definitely a learning experience because you're going to find that in maybe the county tournament. You're going to find that in the postseason.
Yes,
so in reality is you're just preparing.
Yep.
So
that's all. That's what it is. Everybody's lining them up and seeing what they have each week going through the season, and they're working towards their goals. Our goals, we're focused on conference, county, and sectional. We put ourselves in a position for all of those last year. Couldn't get, any of them done. Made it to the county final, got knocked off in the conference to Mount Vernon early. Partially, that's some on me. might have ended up getting tossed. one of my first games against Shelbyville. That once again, learning experience for us. It was like 2 minutes into the second quarter, I think, too. Like it caught me off guard. But once again, learning experience. And then we ended up getting Mount Vernon again in the sectional. And me and Coach Shelton kind of laughed when we shook hands after that, because that sectional game might have been one of the worst. Really? It was packed, but for a sectional semifinal game to end 29-25, neither team could, like, it might have been one of the worst offensive games I've ever been around.
Now, Coach, was that due to great defense, or was that due to just missing shots?
But I think it was both. And I think both teams, obviously Mount Vernon, they've won that sectional the last couple of years. But I think both teams probably, when they come together this year, they're probably looking to put on a better performance for sure. Good. So.
Little chip on your shoulder. Absolutely. Little chip on your shoulder going into when you see Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, listen, man, me and Zach, we appreciate this opportunity.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everything that you and your team's doing. I think all three of us know kind of the history and the lore of Madison County. I love that two, past Madison County greats are kind of bringing light to what's going on in the county now, because honestly, it's a fantastic time for boys and girls.
I tell people all the time, the talent is still here.
Yeah.
It's just they're not covered like we were covered.
Right. I am ecstatic that you guys are doing this. So you have a fan, you have a subscriber, and if you ever need anything, I'm a phone call away. So
awesome, man. Well, we will be coming.
Yeah,
we definitely will. Sure. So we'll definitely let you know. Hey, Coach, we coming to the games.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to
sure.
it.
Well, I remember, and I mean, it was even crazier when you guys played, but TV 40 would still come and cover a lot of our games. And, I think it was probably a couple years ago, I was cleaning up the garage and I was like, there's a whole lot of those player of the game plaques in there. And I mean, you lose sight of that kind of stuff, but it's great. I think right now, not just for Madison County, but girls basketball across the country right now is just exploding with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and a lot of that. So we're just trying to continue to kind of build off of that, and we love what you guys are doing.
You speak those girls' names, which is what's really cool is now when we were growing up, it was all Michael Jordan, which was well deserved because.
Right.
Michael Jordan changed. But what's great now is these younger girls and even the younger guys. You ask them, who's one of your favorite players? Who's one of the best players out there? And Caitlin Clark comes up. Some of these other female players come up, which is outstanding because in the past, maybe Cheryl Miller or something like that you heard about in the past. But other than that,
you never really heard about it. It was always kind of an afterthought.
Yes.
But I really hope, I don't think the WNBA lotteries happen yet, but I'm hoping the Fever can get that first pick and they better not screw it up. Because if they can get Caitlin Clark here, along with Aaliyah Boston, I think they can really start doing some things. So
absolutely.
So.
Especially in the Hoosier State.
Yeah.
And see, that's what. To even bring back, the excitement to where it even transfers down to the feeder system,
right.
To where now when young ladies start to see that the coverage that female, that girls basketball is getting, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I want to get in the gym.
Yeah.
So I don't have to twist your arm to go get no shots up. Right. I don't have to twist your arm to work.
It's a lot. It doesn't become work so much anymore. It becomes kind of an intrinsic thing where you're like, man, I want to put on that. I want to run out of that tunnel.
Yes.
I want to be on that court.
So you get it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we doing what we're doing, man. So,
and that's like I'm very proud that you guys are using the platform that you both have kind of curated through your careers to use that now to help drive, because that's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
We're all just trying to use our experiences as a way to kind of move it forward for boys and girls. You know, I have great conversations with the boys too. So,
and I don't want to speak for Kojak, but on what you said earlier, it's about giving back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
For sure,
we had our time, and it was great.
Yeah,
and I would love to go back if my knees were better.
Well, the same thing. I was in there banging with Hupfer the other day, and I came home and I was getting slow up off the couch, and my wife was like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "Hey." I was like, I don't know if there's like a cold front coming in, but I was like, I think the arthritis is firing up a little bit.
Yes. We know what you're talking about.
Hey, listen, I'm laughing so hard because it's like, man, that's my testimony,
right?
You know, but my testimony ended a long time ago. I ain't banging with them. But to hear you say it, Coach, it just tickles, man.
Right.
Like, wow, man, how time has flew, man. But Coach, man, listen, we ain't gonna keep you. We know you got work to do, man. We just really appreciate you know, your time, man, and really appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah. Same regard here. Thank you. Thanks for coming. And like I said, I hope you continue to grow this thing, and
we're sure gonna try.
You will definitely have a program that will support and push it to whatever you guys need. So,
and vice versa.
Yep.
We want to
for sure
highlight all these kids.
Right? Awesome.
Well, if you remember this guy and what he did on the court, man, listen, he's just as tenacious with this right here. So I promise you, we're planning on growing this thing, man.
Awesome.
So,
good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, man.
Good luck. Yeah.